Hello YouTube, Marielle here. This video is about a comment that somebody left on one of my last videos. She mentioned how her daughter is going through the same issues that I'm going through, and she also mentioned that herself she went through the very similar issues. But for her, it was her mother that alienated her away from her father. And she also mentioned how 30 years later, she's finally reconnecting with her own father, which is very, very, very touching. But when I read that comment, it reminded me of a dream that I had. I mentioned in my last video how I don't know whether it's clairvoyancy or psychic abilities. I honestly I don't know. All I know that I have been able to see certain things long before they happened, like I mentioned in my last video. And for instance, before I met my husband, I'm a French speaker, and before I met my husband, several years before, but a few years before I met my husband, I started dreaming in English, and I'll wake up having this feeling that I can actually speak English. Like the words were just very near, tip of my tongue. I felt like I could speak it, but it was a dream. And then, it was quite, they were nice dreams, and I wake up feeling like, like special, like, oh my god, I can speak English, but I don't remember anything. And why would I speak English? Why do I speak English in my dreams? I don't speak the language. I don't know anything about it except the basic English that we learned at school. So I had no idea that was part of those dream. That dream was letting me know that English will become part of my life. Just like, for instance, my son. I saw my son years before I actually even conceived him, and long before I knew that I would have him. And I saw him very clearly. He was about 3 years old, and I was giving him a bath, and I saw him at 3 in the house that I eventually lived in at the time. And the only thing, but the reality turns out by the time he was 3, we were no longer in that house. So that's how usually dreams are. But I saw him clear as day. But he had his back turned to me, and I was giving him a bath, and it felt at the time in that dream that he was upset, and so was I. And well, so many interpretation of there could be very different interpretation of that dream, because of the situation we all are now, the reality of our situation all are. So I'm not too sure, but anyway, there is another dream that I had. I saw myself as a much older woman. In the dream, I feel old, and it's almost like I can see myself. I am myself, but I can see myself. And as I see myself, there is a part of me that feels very much as well like I am my grandmother, but I look like her, kind of thing. And in the dream, and I see, basically, there is somebody that comes looking for me. So I come out of my property, and I see this young man, very, very tall, who looks very familiar to me. And the thoughts going on in my head is, why are you looking for me? And the thing is, I've had that dream several times, but every single time I don't know for sure who that person is, but I kept convincing myself, because that person looked very much like my cousin, and it's only, I don't, in the last, because I had that dream very recently, and it hit me that actually that was my son. And I had confused them, because not only am I seeing myself much older, but I saw him as well much older, and I did not recognize him because he looked slightly similar to my cousin, and I could not understand why my cousin would be looking for me, desperate to see me. I'm pretty sure that's my son that I keep seeing in that dream. His dad's nose, the height, the everything, It's my son. And that woman comment just triggered all of those, that helped me make that connection. And I think that's probably what's going to happen. Maybe not exactly like that, but yeah, that I am definitely going to lose my kids, and there's probably going to be many years of separation, and possibly decades. I mean, I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong, or those dreams could be probably, not all, all entirely correct, and I hope it's not. But it's just that since, I started this subject of sharing some of my dreams that seems to be coming to pass, I thought I'll share that one. And actually, I do have quite a few, and if you don't mind, I'll keep sharing them, and and hopefully you'll be you'll be just as surprised as me, or feel, share with me, basically. That's all.